There are polls that show that more Americans think it's Republicans who are more responsible than Democrats. There's really blame going around on both sides. Voters are just not happy about this situation. So I'm wondering, given that this is dragging on and Democrats are just not budging from their position, is it time for Republicans to sit down and negotiate right now and try to figure out a way out of this?
Well, honestly, I think Republicans are on the right. We're in a reasonable position here. We've voted 12 times to open the government. And the thing
they're saying no. They want to negotiate right now.
But the thing we're asking for is for them to vote for a continuing resolution, same budget, to keep the government open. That's something Republicans supported 14 times during the Biden administration. What's being asked by the Democrats is to essentially politicize something that's not been political and to use the government and the pain inflicted on ordinary citizens to get leverage in a negotiation of pulling back some of the things that were in the big, beautiful bill and extending the COVID subsidies for Obamacare.
But you're a business guy. You have to work with people. Why not work with Democrats right now? Listen to what their concerns are. Try to cut a deal, reopen the government.
Well, the main reason is you can't negotiate with a terrorist. So what's happening right now is that the Democrats are trying to ask for something extremely unreasonable. We can have any discussion. The president said this. The Majority Leader Thune said this. You can have any negotiation discussion you want about extending health care benefits, but you can't start with you're going to shut down the government to get that. So let's open up the government and we can get to the business of determining what we should do with the health care subsidies and what we should do with the appropriations process.
We'll see if there's ultimately a deal. You said they're acting like a terrorist. Are they acting like terrorists right now?
They're I think, irresponsibly imposing pain on the American people, doing the basic thing that government should do, which is support those essential services. They're holding that hostage to try to get a political win. And that's just unacceptable. And the basic thing you should ask yourself is, if what they're doing is reasonable, why did Republicans support clean continuing resolutions 14 times under the previous administration?
Let's talk about what they're demanding, the Democrats. One of the things they're calling for is an extension of these Obamacare subsidies that were enhanced during the COVID era. In healthcare costs, if those expire, those subsidies, there are estimates that in your state, in Pennsylvania, that premiums could go up by 82% if they expire. Does that concern you?
Sure. I mean, healthcare costs in general concern me. Obamacare 15 years ago was a failure. Prices are ratcheting out of control. You have less access than was promised, and you have less quality than was promised. So in achieving its goal, Obamacare has failed. Now, the subsidies were meant to try to essentially overcome some of that failure. I am worried about the implications, particularly for working families. Because a lot of people in Pennsylvania live paycheck to paycheck, and if their premiums go up dramatically, that's going to be a big deal.
Should you support extending those for 1 year?
I certainly support having that conversation, particularly as it affects working families. There's a number of people that are getting subsidies that make significantly more income. And so I think we need to have a conversation about what makes the most sense. But certainly I'm worried about working families and what the premium expenses is going to be to them. Prices
are still increasing, including groceries. And there's this trade war going on, potentially tariffs going on against China. Can your constituents in Pennsylvania, can they stomach higher prices like this?
Well, I think you're wrong about that in the following sense. Prices under President Biden went up more than 20%. Inflation was up. Real wages didn't.
Inflation is still ticked up.
Inflation is down significantly from where it was under the Biden administration. We need to make sure we continue to focus on fuel, focus on groceries. There's no doubt that we still have inflation, but inflation's come down significantly from where it was. And the best way to get affordability underway is to deliver on the promises of tax relief for middle-class families, which we did in the big, beautiful bill, to get foreign direct investment coming into the country, which we have now at levels beyond what's ever happened before, get fair trading deals in place, which is happening through those trade negotiations. So the way I think about it is, you think about a sailboat, there's lots of wind at our back. Deregulation, energy dominance, the tax certainty, the foreign direct investment. And the more certainty we get on the trade deals, I think the more the economy is going to continue to pick up. But the economic growth now has been extraordinary.
There's all these things that Trump is doing without the consent of Congress, whether it's demolishing what's happening in the East Wing, the strikes in the Pacific Ocean, whether it's dismantling federal agencies, even firing a member of the Federal Reserve Board. Congress has really not had many hearings about any of this. Should there be a check from this branch of government?
Well, there is a check, but what you're saying is exactly what you weren't saying, what the media wasn't saying, and what Democrats weren't saying under Joe Biden. So, I mean, you have this moment
you often see one party does not do much oversight of the other party, but you're a freshman here, over the same party.
Wait a second, but you're saying a bunch of things are happening that are outside the boundaries. I'm saying, no, I don't believe that. I could go through each one of those. But what I'm first saying is that you, the media, and also the Democrats, when there was concerns about Biden's senility and whether he was with it in the Oval Office, or when there's anti-Semitism, or when there's socialism, Democrats who were saying all these, speak up, aren't saying anything now. They capitulate completely. So there's certainly lots of evidence that the Biden administration was overstepping the bounds on free speech during COVID or on student loan forgiveness. What the president's doing on the narcotics and the boats, listen, I campaigned on this. I said we should identify the cartels as terrorist groups. I said that we should be willing to use our military forces. We're losing 4,000 Pennsylvanians a year, 100,000 Americans a year. That's orders of magnitude.
Should you guys have hearings on that?
Yeah, well, listen, I would like to get more updated on what's exactly happening there. I just heard the president at a press conference saying Pete Hegseth should come over and update the Senate on what's going on. But what he's doing is consistent with what he said he's going to do. And sure, I'd like to know more. And if it was a president I didn't trust, I'd want to know a lot more. But what he's doing is consistent with the promises he made.
And you're comfortable with seeing what's happening to the East Wing of the White House right now?
Sure. Yeah. How many presidents have come in and made changes to the White House? I read the same sort of hysteria when there was proposed changes to the Rose Garden, right? I was in the Rose Garden the other day. It's spectacular. If you want to have a residence that's fitting to welcome foreign dignitaries, fitting of the leader, whoever that is, of the greatest country in the world, you're going to have to renovate it and update it periodically. What's unique in this case is there's no taxpayer money going into it. So what the American people are going to get is a great White House that's going to have the ability to host major events.
You're not concerned about the optics during the shutdown that's happening?
Well, listen, the project was underway and it's not being paid by taxpayer dollars, so not really. I actually think that question is sort of small ball and tiny in comparison to Middle East peace, whether we're going to stop fentanyl from killing people, whether we're going to continue to have the progress we have on Russia and Ukraine. Those are the kinds of issues the president's dealing with every day, and he's on offense.
As we wrap here, John Fetterman, you mentioned him before. You've had a really positive relationship with him. You wanted to challenge him at one point as you ran in your first effort to win this seat. Do you think that he deserves to be reelected?
Well, listen, I think he's been an extraordinary partner to me. I think he wakes up every morning thinking, what's best for Pennsylvania? He's had the courage to stand up for what he believes in. We have found common ground, and when we find it, we work together. We disagree on many things. So I think he's been an extraordinary partner. I think he serves the people of Pennsylvania excellently.
What about re-election? Does he deserve to be reelected?
Well, we'll see. I'm not sure what he'll decide to do, but I would say then what I've said now, which is he's been a great partner. He fights for Pennsylvania. I trust him. Can't always say that about people in Washington these days. I trust John Fetterman to do what he thinks is right and what he thinks is right for Pennsylvania.
Have you urged him to change parties?
I haven't talked to him about changing parties.